Alright, what's going on? Everybody know what it is? It's the fucking devil. No, I'm not the devil, but my daughter's birthday is today, and I'm gonna be the devil for her Halloween party costume dress-up thing. She's got 3 little friends coming from her from her school over to her party, so it's a dress-up party. Since her birthday is the 25th, today's the 24th. Man, you know, who knows? Halloween right now in our town is still a go, but if we get to stage 2 again, which is where all the restaurants closes and shit like that, then Halloween's canceled. Now, because of the cries of a lot of, and by cries I'm not being insensitive because I'm actually on their side, because of a lot of businesses, restaurants get closed down at stage 2. I don't know if hotels do and stuff like that or whatever the case is, but at stage 2 last time all the restaurants got closed down. Everybody was for it because everybody wanted a holiday. Well, the people anyways, and maybe the people are for it again too because they just work jobs, but the owners, there was a municipality close to us in Long Sault, store, I can't remember the name of the store or the restaurant, but she was saying, you know, we abided by all your rules, we go above and beyond and sanitize. It adds to our workload, but we do what we got to do to keep our people safe. But because of the 50 and under rule and different things like that, we've been taking a hit, and I had to lay off a lot of my people because of this, and we are barely maintaining. And if we go to stage 2, it's like we're done for, you know. And this is a restaurant we had in the family for years. We wanted to leave to our kids, and you know, dipping into savings just to stay afloat, which is not supposed to be the point. The point is to provide service for people. And people put value on this service, but now because of these rules and restrictions, you know, we have to do what we got to do to make people safe. But you know, it's not. See, people have died from this thing, and I'm sure people know people have died from this thing. But when it comes to hospital, or when it comes to restaurants having to close, people being out of work because of this, when there, and so there's a point, like, hasn't been a single case that rolled through here, hasn't been a single case in the municipality, yet they're gonna have to shut down because there's 1 or 2 cases extra that just popped up, but still no deaths. Then why are we freaking out? People are getting sick, they're getting viruses. Well, people have been getting viruses and colds and sickness since the dawn of time, and before medicine and we had the smarts that we have now, you know, people have died in the past. But what, all of a sudden we're back to the colonial age, or the fucking, you know, I don't know, I can't remember the age I want to say. It's definitely not colonial, but colonial definitely was an age where there were certain diseases that we have today that are no longer an issue. You know, we have made leaps and bounds in the way of technology for sickness, viruses, disease, all that shit. Yet we're acting like this virus, that's a common cold that most people can get and just shake off, is gonna wipe us all out. And it's not the fucking case. You know, to the point where, you know, I got people coming over my house today, and I can't have as many kids over as we wanted to, and we're making it a Halloween party in case the kids don't get a Halloween. Like, it's ridiculous. And I'm on those people's side that are saying that, you know, it makes no sense. We're following by your rules. We're not having any outbreaks yet. You know, we have to shut down. And you ever work at a job where they say, yeah, I have a boss, and the boss, one person's a problem. One person is doing something, breaking the rules. People are complaining about it. The boss doesn't want to go up to this person. Maybe he's either a really good performer. Maybe his quality or his quantity and quality is through the roof. But he bends a few rules to get there. No one else bends those rules, and, you know, either out of jealousy, whatever the case is. Either way, the point is the boss doesn't want to approach this one guy. So he makes rules and sets rules for everybody so that it gets to that one person. Well, that's what this feels like. It feels like we have a minority of people that are weaker than other people, whether that's the majority of them or people in their 80s and 90s, maybe 70s and 60s, depending on their lifestyle, that have a weak immune system. And I know I probably have a whole different outlook on this if I was 80 or 60, or if I had someone who had a weak immune system. Actually, I know people have weak immune systems, but I still feel the same way. It doesn't matter. I'm not. What somebody has, if they have a weak immune system, they should be staying in. And if you don't know if you have a weak immune system, and you're just sitting there saying, well, people are dying from this, wear a fucking mask. It's like, well, no, that's not fair to you to go say, wear a fucking mask. And if they say to go to stage 2, we go to stage 2, and you just sit at home. That's just because your job isn't impacted or your place isn't impacted then who are you to tell other people in other places what to fucking do? Everybody has different rules. So they said it's going to be a modified stage 2 if we go to it, probably, so certain things like that don't get shut down. But if you look what's happening, everybody's staying home, everybody's being off of work, everybody, I mean, and there's more deaths, there's more ODs, there's more suicides. People are going crazy out here. There's more families breaking up and kids being split apart, parents split apart because of all this shit. I mean, it's making it worse than anything. We're having more deaths from suicide, ODs, and actual people killing people. We're having more of those deaths than we are of COVID deaths. So why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we hurting us like this? Why are we doing this? Why are we telling everybody to do something when there's only a minority that has to do it? Well, because you can't just single those people out, because you can't expect everybody to go to the physician and get checked if they have COVID. But that's the thing about this. Everybody's acting like, okay, well, if we all come in contact with COVID, we're all going to die. It's like, no. If we all come in contact with COVID, those of us who have a weak immune system will die. If you have a common cold and you get COVID, you're going to be both if you have a strong immune system. If you have a weak immune system and you have a common cold and you have COVID, you're going to die. If you have a weak immune system and you only get COVID, if you do the proper steps and you catch this thing, if you go and you have a fucking weak immune system and you go get tested and you find out you have COVID, well, then you can take the steps properly and beat this thing. It's not this thing that you just get and you die instantly. You have to have like one or more things already in your body attacking your white blood cell level, that, or whatever it is. Yeah, white blood cells. Anyways, you have to have something already attacking your fucking immune system for your immune system not to be effective against COVID. But if you have a weak enough immune system, and it's not like debilitated beyond belief, but if you have a weaker immune system than most people, but there are people that still beat this. Like I said, there was a 9-year-old whose immune system was not in tip-top shape who beat COVID. She had a beer after. It was all over the news and all that. So we got to stop acting like this thing is going to kill us, because the more people act like this thing is going to kill us all, well, it's more likely going to kill us all. Stop giving this thing focused energy that is expanding its power. Like, everybody's doing that because no one knows what the fuck they should be doing. No one at the party tonight's going to get sick at my house. Nobody. Everybody at my party is going to be free from viruses, sickness, illness, disease, conditions, disorders, all of that. No one's ever going to get anything at my party. Yeah, I said what I always say. And it's true. I know that. I can harness that. I can do that because I'm powerful. I can do that. I am powerful. The things I banish on a regular basis within my mind happen. And for anybody out there who's been saying that that's not possible, reject, banish, deny is not possible, I'm going to play a video by Frederick Xavier right now, where he actually says if you don't want to do magic, ritual magic or anything like that, but you still want to change your mindset, change your life, there's 2 ways that you can do it without doing magic. And one is controlling your self-talk, your negative self-talk. All the talk goes in the background of your house. If you actively reject, banish, deny that, and then self-image is the other one. I'm going to play that for you right now so you can hear it. And then when I come back, I'll talk about a comment I got from a viewer. It was very sweet, very kind. She commented quite a few times, and it was really, really nice. And she asked me a bunch of topics to talk about. So I'm going to bring up all those topics, and then there's a lot of them I haven't looked into, so I'll be completely honest. Some of them I have in the past, when it comes to like targeted individuals and all that. But so I'm not gonna get into it here, but I'm gonna just tell everybody what I'm gonna focus on, and then probably in a week or so, maybe 2, but 2 max. But I'm gonna have a video about all these things. So, but first, listen to my man Frater, and he'll tell you what's up.
Charge Frater. Thought a synchronistic success story might cheer you up. I charged and burned a gold candle a little while ago. I was out on my bike today checking out a membership at a very high quality gym. I was a little disappointed when I realized it was a little out of my price range, but I wasn't discouraged. I just got a call from the woman I spoke with at the gym, and she has given me a golden ticket, which gives you a discounted rate and no first and last, which equaled the money I had left in my pocket. My gratitude for all that you do. Let us continue the great work. Yes, that does cheer me up quite a bit. And I have been receiving a lot of love and support from my core viewers, from my base, those subscribers who I should be focusing on instead of being distracted by the nonsense and the threats of others, which I normally do. This is something that's been going on for a while now. I started binding people back in May when the threats started becoming pretty heavy. It's only recently that my inbox was clogged with hundreds of them from someone I haven't even had contact with. Those screenshots in the last video near the end made it appear as if I was having some kind of argument or conversation with this person. No, I haven't even sent them a single message at all. So I have no idea what their problem is other than being deranged. What was shown was only a small fraction of what was actually sent. So I started back in May binding and doing work to remove these type of people from harassing me. And as synchronicity would have it, YouTube has now just released their new harassment policy. So I would expect that these people are going away very soon. And I'm not talking about those who are leaving negative comments and disagree with me. I don't care about that, as long as it isn't threatening to me or anyone else. You know, just being a decent person, a fairly simple and reasonable behavior. Otherwise, I will have you taken down and removed in accordance with the new YouTube policy, which has arrived just in time. Imagine that. So for those of you who still have posts up attacking me and messages attacking me, I still haven't got my inbox totally cleaned out, and you know who you are. I'm giving you this opportunity to remove them yourself before they are removed for you. YouTube is far less forgiving than I am, and they may remove you as well. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. Dear Freighter, I would just like to share my success story and let you know how big of a difference your work has made for every aspect of my life. I just did 2 days of repeating "I'm so grateful now that I have loads of money coming from multiple sources all the time, non-stop." Then I let it be for a day, and what do you know? I have a job interview in the morning. My grandfather is going to teach me how to make money by doing virtually no effort, by being a consultant in my spare time for Ambit Energy. I was taught just yesterday of the best no-risk long-term investments with moderate income. And just an hour ago, my mom's boyfriend offers me 10% of his profits if I run his blog. I have been practicing magic for 6 months, and all of this new income is without ritual at all. I haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg in comparison to what a fulfilled, happy, ambitious person with such a love for life I have become. I've studied non-stop since I began, and now I know my life's purpose, know what I want from life, and I am getting the steps laid out right in front of me. You have my never-ending respect and gratitude. I've come to you with questions before, but this, more than anything, is what I hope you see. Thank you, Freighter, for being the single most influential person in my life so far. P.S. I'm 15 years old. Most everyone I've known has led me on to believe this level of success, both on an internal and external level, is impossible. I've come a long way in 6 months. I remember the first thing I manifested was a cheeseburger while I was in jail and tired of their shitty sandwiches. To be at the level I am today and the level I'll be at in 6 more months is truly the best thing that has ever happened to me. Thank you again, Freighter. I love this kid. Only 6 months and his life is completely turned around. And he's only 15. I wish I had this information when I was 15. I can only imagine how far he's going to go in life, because he took action and he was persistent without even the need for ritual, although affirmations is a type of ritual as you're doing it over and over. And I recognize that affirmation. That's a Bob Proctor affirmation. It's the one Bob Proctor uses himself. And it works. The thing about affirmations is that people usually don't have the patience and the persistence to continue doing them until they work. It's got to get into the subconscious, and the only way to do that is to beat it into your head over and over again and make it a habit so that it gets into the subconscious that way. Because the conscious mind, if you're thinking about it while you're doing it, it filters it out. But if you do it enough times, you do it without even thinking about it, now it's getting in. It's like memorization. You can do it without even consciously trying to. And he also discovered his life purpose and what he wants from life. And that's paramount. I mean, it's very difficult to manifest what you want if you don't know what you want. You should have a clear, sharp vision of what you want. I love this testimonial. It doesn't get much better than this. And this is what it's all about. How many young people today, that age, in their mid-teens, have a passion and zest for life and know exactly what they want from it? There's not many these days. Not that I'm seeing. There are many hopeless kids out there. And this is somebody like many kids out there today who had their issues and made bad choices. That's usually how you end up in jail, but has since turned everything completely around without even doing the magic. He just changed his mindset, and now he's starting to have success. And the more he embodies that success, the more success he'll have. It's an upward spiral as opposed to a downward spiral. You need not worry or be concerned with the how everything comes about. You just need to know what you want. As he said, everything was laid out before him. It was presented to him. He didn't have to plan out the details of how things would come about. He just needed to know what he wanted. So how do we go about manifesting what we want without the need for magic ritual, without a temple and the tools, without invoking the archangels and vibrating God names? How do we go about changing our mindset? Well, without magic, there are two things that are going to determine the things that you manifest in your life. The first is self-talk, the conversations that are going on in your mind, many times in the background without you even being consciously aware of it. The exercise that I gave out at the beginning of banishing and rejecting and denying your negative thoughts and accepting the positive thoughts as offers that are presented to you will go a long way in your gaining control of your self-talk. Because if you're allowing negative self-talk into your mind, then you are divided against yourself. How can you ever be successful if you're constantly telling yourself that you cannot be successful? How can things work out if your own mind's voice is telling you that things won't work out? You have to gain control of those self-talk thoughts. And the more you reject, deny, and banish those negative thoughts, the less they'll come around. So that is the first thing that's going to determine the things that you manifest into your life. The second thing is going to be self-image. Do you see yourself as the person that you want to be, or do you fall short of that vision? Self-talk and self-image go hand in hand. And if you can get a handle on the self-talk, you can also get a handle on the self-image. When I first started this channel, as you know, it took me 10 months to get 100 subscribers. I was new to doing YouTube and presenting information. As I was not really used to doing this all the time, I did not yet see myself in that role of teacher. But after about 30 to 40 videos and had gained the experience and felt more comfortable, I began to see myself in that role. And that's when the channel really started to snowball and take off. Previous to that, I saw myself having a successful YouTube channel, But it wasn't until I saw myself in that role that things really took off. See yourself not as you are, but as you want to be, as if you already are. Genesis 1:27 says, "So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them, male and female he created them." Now Neville Goddard, who is like the Bob Proctor of his day back in the 40s and 50s, he calls God the human imagination. And he's not far off the mark if you know that the subconscious is your link to the divine, and that our requests to the divine must come through our imaginative faculties and visualizations. So let me read it again with Neville Goddard's definition of God. So imagination created mankind in his own image. In the image of imagination he created them, male and female he created them. Everything that is created is first imagined, and what you manifest into your reality is going to be a result of your use or misuse of your imagination. Are not self-talk and self-image part of your imagination? And so you have to get a handle on these things if you want lasting success, if you want to be in that upward spiral. Now, I recommend listening to Neville Goddard's lectures on YouTube, but if you want the short version of his method, it's quite simple. Imagination plus emotion plus faith. Imagine yourself or circumstances not as they are, but as you want them to be. Imagine as sharp and vividly as you can until you feel as if it is so. Use all 5 of your senses in your imagination. So perhaps it's a new house that you want. Imagine walking around that house, touching the walls and the furniture, etc. If it's a new car, feel as if you are driving that car, imagining the car as vividly as you can. Turn up the emotion of gratitude while you're doing it, being thankful for what you have. And imagine until you feel that it is done, that it is a fact. And to the degree of which you believe it is real, it will become real. And he advises doing this when you're ready to go to sleep and holding that state of imagination and feeling as if it is real until you fall asleep. And do this each night until it manifests. Put yourself where you want to be in your mind without worrying about how to get there. Leave the details to the divine. That's as simple as it gets. Imagination plus emotion plus faith. The self-talk is the faith component. Negative self-talk is doubt. And there is no room for doubt. You have to know that it is so. Then let it go. Until the next night. Then do it again. My first manifestation using this method was when I was in the 3rd grade. There was a national contest for a charity to raise money for research to fight a particular disease. Now, I'm not going to go into details that can compromise my identity, but I ended up winning the grand prize, which was a trip to Disney World. I envisioned myself at Disney World, and I had absolutely no doubt that I would win. And I kept telling my parents, I'm going to win. And they were like, yeah, sure you are, okay. And my father said he would take the entire family if I did win, because the trip was only for 2 people. And there were 4 of us, my parents, my sister, and I. My brother had not yet been born at the time. And, of course, I won. The odds of it never occurred to me. Being that young, I couldn't fathom just how large a national contest was. I just knew that I was good at what the contest entailed, and I had the confidence and the faith that I would prevail. And it was so. Matthew 18:3, and he said, truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Children have incredible imaginations and unshakable faith, partly because they don't know any differently. They're not weighing the odds and picking things apart. And then they have that imagination and faith destroyed by lies such as Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, and other disappointments. They become skeptical, as it happened with me. I didn't retain the incredible lesson of manifestation that was given to me. I was too young to pick it apart and find out exactly why it worked as it did. We have to become like little children again and encourage imagination and faith in our own children in a system that's designed to destroy it. Every majorly successful person will tell you the same thing. They had a vision of their success. And by vision, they mean exactly that. They mean they saw themselves successful in their own mind as if it was so first. They imagined it. Do not underestimate the mind in Mind and Magic. Many people just want me to simply focus on the magic. They want this spell or that spell, when what they really need is to learn to develop their own imaginations. The imagination is your creative power. If you're able to see it in your mind's eye and feel it as if it is real, it will be so, to the degree of your faith. As I said before, I recommend listening to Neville Goddard's lectures. He has many, many, many success stories simply using this method alone. I remember there was one where a lady's boss was always mean to her and talking down to her and just being a jerk. And when they examined her self-talk, she was always fighting with him in her mind. Once she cleared that up and started imagining him praising her for her work, he did a 180 and everything changed, and he did start praising her for her work. Remember when I said that everyone is doing magic whether they know it or not? This is what I'm talking about. Self-talk and self-image. The use or misuse of your imagination. Learn to take conscious control of your imagination, and you will take control over the creation of your reality. And I'll see you next time. Take care.
Mind blowing as always, Mr. Frater Xavier. Anyways, I shot up on the screen there a couple times during that. The questions and shit that the person wanted me to talk about or ask my opinion on a few things. Those are the things I'm going to go through. At the top of my head, though, I can't bring it up at the same time as I videotape myself. But actually, before I get into that, what Frater just talked about is absolutely correct. So, when those recent things, me and my wife, with the trouble we go through, all the days that I can remember we fought, I would find something that I thought was suspicious of maybe potentially her still talking to that man. And in my head, I would think about how I was approaching her. And then I would think about all the things she's going to say to me. And then I would think about all the ways I'd respond to her. And then I'd get into a fight basically with her just in my head and decide not to bring it up to her. Later on, she would ask me what's wrong. And then I would just let it all out. And then it would play out exactly the way it was. On the days that now, as of recent, like very recent, like in the last, like let's say 3 weeks, what I just talked about was maybe prior to that. Except for the one day about the whole sex thing. But that fight barely lasted long. It's because I kept banishing the thoughts that, all those little bitch thoughts I was having. But point is, recently I would banish away. No, I banished the thought that my wife is unfaithful, and I accept that she's a faithful woman. And instead of her bringing it up like, hey, what's been bugging you later, we would have just a great day, and we haven't gotten in any fights. So when he's talking about the self-talk and using that Neville Goddard, and I also I looked up Neville Goddard because I looked up Bob Proctor, which led me to Earl Nightingale, which led me to Napoleon Hill, which Frater also, and Napoleon Hill and Neville Goddard have things together, and it's just amazing, their information. And like he said, this is in the 40s, and Napoleon Hill was in the 50s, and then Earl Nightingale's late 50s, early 60s, and then after that, well, Bob Proctor's later on, he's like right now, but he's also been around in the 90s. And anyways, point is, all these guys, all these old things that's been around forever, is this new information we're passing around. And I haven't looked into any of these things that the person who sent me these questions and all these things that I should look up. I haven't looked at any of them yet. So I don't want to just say anything that's conspiratorial that you should just simply not focus on it, because by using your imagination to manifest things and making you think these things are real, they can become real. Now, so that means right off the hop, what I'm saying is there's an element to every one of those things, to the target individual, to hive mind. AI hive mind, I think, has to do with groupthink, the way the masses think. We all tend to think alike, and that's whenever you are plugged in, let's say, that's whenever you're part of this. I don't like using the word matrix, I made that very clear, but you're just in the matrix, you're just working, whatever, everything's normal. Because there's a difference between being unhappy at your work, but continue to do it because it's just what you gotta do. And there's the place that I got into where it's like, I can't keep doing this anymore. This isn't fucking right. And that's the moment where it's like, I'm unplugged. But you don't know what's right and what's wrong. You have to find your way out of that. And it's very hard. I'm still in the process of doing that technically. Because technically I have to go back to work, I think, in January. And as much as I enjoy my job, and I like the fact that I'm getting rid of cancer, carcinogens, and things like that, so that this place is safer, so people aren't taking in, when they're around electrical equipment, they're not around these cancer-causing fucking oils and stuff like that. Like, we're disposing of that and getting rid of it. And, you know, I'm very good at it, and I have a lot of talent doing it, but it's not, like, joyful fulfillment. I want something like that. So I'm still in the process of figuring this out. But I know I can just keep fucking slanging spells and using my mind to continuously not work and still get paid and stay home with my kids. I've been doing it for a fucking while now. So if anything, I keep getting better and better, and it keeps happening easier for me. It's like I'm on default right now. So I've been manifesting to stay home and not have to work for so long that my subconscious is just doing it for me. Kind of like the way Frater Xavier goes into how when you increase your financial set point, you don't even have to do money magic anymore, because when you set your financial set point, let's say you make 50 grand a year and you're able to implant 100 grand a year. Well, your financial set point, like anything else, that's created on the astral now. So on the astral has to match here in this realm. So if on the astral you make 100 grand, but in this realm you only make 50 grand, well then your subconscious is automatically going to give you that other 50 grand throughout the year. It's just going to happen. It has to. That's how this plays out. Well, for me, I got it into my mind that I work and then I don't work, and I work and then I don't work, and I work and I don't work, and I keep coming home. And so I just keep getting these opportunities after opportunities to stay home. I barely even have to try. So something like that. But anyways, I gotta go buy some juice. The party's about to start, and I haven't shaved. I haven't fucking showered. And this is why I'm a maturous person to the max, you know, right down to the green fucking eyes, because I care about my appearance and looks, and as much as I try to dissociate with that, I'm still very much attached to that. I gotta go home and get ready. So short little video today, but technically my short videos get viewed better, but my big ones have a lot of great content in them, and they're for specific people who aren't just looking for some magical secret that they can get overnight to become rich or wealthy or stay home. It's for the people that know it's possible, but it takes work, and they're looking for how to fix that. But I'm going to go into all those topics that are on that list. Maybe I'll take a second to read them to you, but I showed them on the screen. So if you want to see what I'm going to be coming out with, and then probably the next week or so, and I might end up having to divide it out throughout videos, but I made it very clear though that I don't really look into conspiratorial kind of stuff. That isn't really going to help me. And I'm at a place now where I can objectively look at anything without putting emotion into it. So there's no fear for me looking at something and like, ooh, I think that's real. Ooh, and giving it focused energy and making it real in my life. But in the same sense, depending on how dark or shitty it might be, I may not be able to look at it, because there's certain things I don't want to give power to. So that being said though, this person asked me a question, and I've been asking people to give me topics to talk about for a while now, and I've got a big list of here things to go through. So regardless if I think they're either ridiculous or not true, whatever it is, I'm going to do my due diligence, look into both sides of the fence, meaning people that are for that, the people that are against that, the so-called experts for, the so-called experts against, and then from there get my subconscious mind to lead me the rest of the way to give you what is necessary for you to know about those topics from my perspective, my point of view, and my experience, which isn't the same as yours, because no two people have the same. So yeah, this is going to be a little short video, but I hope you enjoy it, and if I don't come back on, have yourselves a great fucking day.